helped so many people in Cork get into the music industry. Let's hear and put big hands together for Stevie G.
No confrontation, party all night. It just doesn't.
1, 2. I can't sing, okay? So I'm gonna leave Marvin Gaye sing for me.
Funky music makes the clouds roll by, baby. Say what? Your music kissed my tears and sad my eyes.
Don't worry, I'm not Snapchatting this.
Your music
We got
makes
some
me
notes.
want to sing. To be through the music is a joy to breathe. Hey, music is my heart and soul. It's more precious than gold and gas.
You can turn on the music a little bit now. Okay, the Cork Singers Club, they certainly can't sing, so I had to leave someone else do it for me. But what a voice to do it for me. His name is Marvin Gaye, and he's my favourite musical artist. I'm talking about music as a universal language, and I love Marvin Gaye as an artist so much that I call my own son Marvin. Not many white Marvins in the world, but that's another story. But his music has lived on as an artist, transcended all different kind of time zones, barriers, whatever, geography. Ironically enough, even though he was, actually could you turn up a little bit because I've got an oath that I've got to follow. Ironically enough, he wasn't the most comfortable performer himself on stage. He was very nervous. It actually was one of the reasons why he had different problems with drugs or whatever. But when he sang, his voice, as I said, just transcended everything, and as an artist, it's just incredible. Some of the music he wrote 40, 50 years ago about ecology, about war, about social situations in the States, it stands up and it's more relevant than ever. I really love his line, "Only love can conquer hate." That's one of my favourites. I'm talking about language and music as a universal language, and it's interesting that that I only speak one language like many people in this country. I speak rap as well, but that's another story. We had a controversy with a pub down the road last week about someone not being able to speak Irish working in a pub, and it brought the debate up again. And it's very interesting that our language in Ireland, and it shames me that I can't speak Irish, and in schools there was difficulty, and obviously there's an imperial background that we won't get into now, but they have tried to stamp out culture over the years, and music and language in different places, whether it was bringing people from Africa to the United States and stamping out different cultures there. It happened with Irish people. Now luckily we've brought our music, and the lads demonstrated it really really well. Even with some of the songs, you can see some of the themes that we're talking about here, and some of these songs survived and went to the States and England and all around the world. And it's now happening as well, particularly lately, where it's coming right back. And one of my friends, Mark, who's going to be speaking about multiculturalism, will talk about that. My favourite hip-hop in the country is by people like Mark and Ross and Gano family, who are bringing the African immigrant experience here with a very much an Irish kind of swagger in 2016. And it's quite interesting that people can, as we talk about music as a universal language, that the language and the music survives. You mightn't actually think it straight away when you're thinking about slave ships and African music, when you're listening to hip-hop or disco now, or sorry, electronic music or rock music. But you can hear it in the White Stripes, you can hear it in Kendrick Lamar, you can hear the drums, you can hear the joy, the pain, you can see the dancing, and you can still feel it, in my opinion, that the music has survived, and it has helped bring it to a different kind of different generation. And it is amazing that they've tried to stamp out different things. Music has always been rebellious. Someone talked about punk and about stomp in Cork earlier. There's a big punk tradition here, and we obviously have a big rebellious tradition here. But you can see rebellious music in everything from stuff that's called mainstream now, like jazz and stuff, blues, R&B. They're trying to stomp out it many times. Hip-hop, disco even, which was the biggest music in the world for about a year, and then Middle America kind of went right against it, and there was a kind of like a homophobic racial backlash. Again, it's another story. Even this week, I wrote about it tomorrow, about there's a nightclub closed in England, supposedly due to a couple of drug deaths, but there's different kind of factors at play, and it's almost like an attack on youth culture. But music and youth culture and rebellion will take place, whether it's punk or hip-hop or folk music, Because it is all about a folk tradition, like the lads have demonstrated, keeping the music alive through word of mouth. And it actually happens even through DJ culture. That's what's kept vinyl alive, and vinyl is still there. I had a couple of slides which I was meant to put up, so you'd have something better to look at. What else am I going to talk about? Yeah, the melting pot is the most interesting thing for me, really. It's happened with Jamaican immigrants going to London and kind of creating a new form of reggae. And ironically, the Jamaicans who used to listen to all of this like R&B from America, they grew up on Ray Charles and Sam Cooke, like loads of other people, and they were trying to copy it in Jamaica, and then they eventually, out of that, they couldn't get the artist over from America, even though it was quite near, and they ended up having their own kind of bands developing it, and they actually developed their own sound, which they exported to America, who created hip-hop out of it. And this whole thing just went back and forth, and it's cool the way it happens, and it still happens. I'm going to play you out with my favourite musician of the moment, and a song which it really means a lot to me in 2016. It's only out a couple of weeks. But I just want to say I'm not exactly well travelled myself, even though I've played in a lot of places, but music takes me on a journey all around the world every day, and it's the best thing. That's the cool thing about art, whether it's movies or anything else. I particularly like the way music can bring me to New York or Africa or Asia or anything, and that kind of escapism is just is really cool, and it is the universal language. I'm going to leave you with some Frank Ocean, who's kind of very much different to Marvin Gaye, but it's still speaking to me in a way that Marvin Gaye spoke to me when I was a kid growing up. And it's cool that there's fresh new music, just as relevant and as dynamic as ever in 2016. I think it's going to come in there in a second, so that's when I'll drop the mic. Thanks a million.